I'm so excited that Natalie Portman has taken a minute to join us. There was this electric moment in 2018 when we were running for Senate in Texas, and I started to get all these text messages from our volunteers at the Austin headquarters because it was almost to the day 2 years ago, Natalie Portman had shown up to encourage all those volunteers and all the staff and everyone who was knocking on doors and reaching out to voters in a state that we knew was not a red state, but was just a non-voting state. She'd been there and it had just set the campaign on fire. Folks were so excited, so pumped up. I know she did that for MJ Hagar and her volunteers when MJ was running for Congress in that year. She was so helpful to us in Texas. And we are so lucky to have her help again as she encourages these volunteers to reach out to the fellow voters in Texas. So Natalie Portman, thank you for everything that you have done for us over the years and for being with us once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. I mean, it means so much to me and is so inspiring and moving to me to see people so engaged in democracy and people who are devoting so much time and energy and heart toward getting out the vote and voting for issues that are really meaningful to our lives and will actually really affect countless people. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to connect with your incredible volunteers and see the magic that you helped inspire with your candidacy too.
So many people are saying exactly what I feel, maybe you feel, that we often talk about the next election as being the most important in our lives, and yet those words feel more true than they ever have, and maybe the most important election in the life of this country. What does this election mean to you? What are you hoping that it will decide for the country?
Well, first of all, I think the circumstances that we're living through with the pandemic have really shined a light on how important healthcare is, how the health of someone else and someone else's choices can affect you, and how your own choices can affect someone else, and how we all have this equal vulnerability and equal need for healthcare. That seems like a crucial, central issue. So many of us are lacking the community and the infrastructure that we need to support ourselves through this homeschooling and working parents. And I think that I know I've experienced it, and I know so many of my friends and loved ones are really drowning under the weight of what's going on. And of course, economically too, the need for support during this time, which is just unprecedented. And it's been so difficult to not have any leadership, any positive leadership during this time, and really has left people drowning. And it feels like a fight for democracy too, because it feels more than ever, I mean, there's a history of voter suppression, but more than ever, it feels like the president is actively trying to get people not to vote, which seems direct conflict with our ideals in this country. So anyway, so to end it, I would just say I'm so grateful that all of you are helping get out the vote, because people participating is the number one most important thing. We may have different opinions, we may have different choices, but just everyone making their voice heard, having the ability to make their voice heard, having the opportunity and the knowledge that can help inform their decisions, and just go and vote is the most important thing. And so the work you're doing is really, I'm so grateful to all the volunteers. I can't say how important what you're doing is.
It's so nice to hear you say all of that, and especially to connect all of those challenges back to democracy, and the fact that this country is, in this state in particular, in Texas, is making it so hard for so many to participate in our democracy and to cast their ballot and make sure that their vote actually counts. And I think this work that the volunteers are doing to call voters ahead of and now during early voting is the best way to overcome that, to help those voters navigate and get to the polling place and to cast that ballot and to make sure that their vote counts and their voice is going to be heard. I wonder if, just given how powerfully you impacted our volunteers in 2018, I wonder if we could close with a message from you. We're 3 weeks out from the most important election of our lifetimes in the biggest swing state in the country. And these volunteers, many of them have been at it over the course of this year, making phone calls since we cannot knock on doors post-COVID. And I know they're tired. I know they've given so much. They made over 2 million phone calls just on Monday, the day before early voting. Give them a message of encouragement, if you would, to stay with us all the way through November 3rd.
Well, first, I want to thank you all for all the work you have done tirelessly and with all your heart. It is so incredible and such an unbelievable achievement to have already made so many phone calls. And the more you can make by election day, the more it's just going to impact the way we live for the next foreseeable, maybe the rest of our lives, when you see the impact of the Supreme Court, the impact on the environment, the impact on choices around our economy and our health. It's really so important, the work that you're doing. And I'm so incredibly grateful. And in Texas, which is such an extraordinary state and such a diverse state, and has so much to offer the country, and that you've already been able to turn it into a swing state by your work is really remarkable. That's a change during our lifetime. And to go even farther and potentially bring this home for democracy and for the preservation of democracy and the preservation of women's rights and environmental rights and gay rights. And I mean, the list goes on and on and on. What is at stake right now? I'm just so grateful for your work, and let's not regret anything after election day where we think, oh, we could have done more. Let's exhaust all of our options of what we can do right now.
Thank you so much for lending your voice and your encouragement to this effort and to these volunteers who have already done so much. And there's so much still expected of them over these next 3 weeks. And I love what you had to say about doing this in a way that will allow us on the night of November 3rd to not have any regrets and hopefully to celebrate a well-earned victory. Thanks to the great candidates we have, and then especially thanks to the great volunteers who power their campaigns. So we are so grateful to you. We want you to be safe and your family healthy and well. And we look forward to being able to thank you in person once we're all traveling again and able to be together. But for now, accept our gratitude at a distance, and please keep up the great work.
Thank you, Sam. Stay safe, and look forward to seeing you all in person and, giving you a hug to thank you for all the work you're doing now.